Night for the skipper, Rick Renteria, who's in his second season as the manager of the White Sox, next to his long-term pitching coach, Donnie Cooper. Take a look at the White Sox lineup. We mentioned the big, hard-hitting Abreu Garcia in the 2 spot, 368 for the season. Tonight, Jose Abreu is the DH. He's their regular first baseman. But you can see why they keep his bat in the lineup against the Blue Jays. A 336 career average with 14 extra base hits. And then right behind him, different story for Matt Davidson, who had that big opening day game, 3 home runs, but it's been a different story for him here against the Blue Jays.
And he's getting set for his second start of the season. Aaron Sanchez, I thought, was very good against a very good Yankee team. Lots of energy early on for Aaron. He pitched 5 2/3 innings against New York. He had 4 walks, but I contend there was a pitch in that inning, that 6th inning, that looked like he was going to get out of that 6th inning to Drury. Ended up walking him and then gave up the 2-run single. Then he was finished. He is going to have his second start of the season. He's pitched 3 times against the Chicago White Sox in his career, but none of them here at Rogers Center. All of them in guaranteed rate field park in Chicago. Sanchez, I think, is primed for a really good game. You got a free swinging team like the Chicago White Sox. I think he has the possibility of having a high strikeout game tonight.
Jay Amp had 9 strikeouts in 5 1/3. Let's take a look at the defense in the outfield. Granderson, Pilar, and Grichuk, and Golpe at shortstop, as Ledmus Diaz has a little bit of a back issue.
Randall Grichuk will play the outfield. In fact, the outfield play has been really good this season, the early part of it. He goes back well on the ball. Pitchers have a lot of confidence in the outfield this season. Grichuk, one of the guys who's really nailed down right field for him.
Sanchez is set. Yohan Moncada steps in, switch hitting second baseman. Takes first pitch. It's down and in for a ball, and we are underway. Under 200 in the first 4 games of the season for Moncada.
But his manager is very happy with his progress as a leadoff hitter. Rick Renteria was talking about him, say he's got a really good eye at the plate. He's going to continue to adapt at the top of that lineup as he learns the league.
There's that good changeup that Moncada chased. Moncada has a walk. Excuse me, he's got 2 walks and 3 strikeouts so far this season. Sanchez, as Pat mentioned, felt like he kind of ran out of gas in that first start. First start of the season, anxious to put last year behind him. I'm sure he had a lot of extra adrenaline in that game against New York.
Yeah, excited early, and that can drain your tanks very quickly. But he pitched into the 6th inning. Tell you, he had a good fastball, and he really utilized his changeup extremely well in that game.
Abreu Garcia, the right fielder, waits on deck. It's a full count to Moncada. This is what Renteria was referring to as Moncada leading off. Lays off that high pitch. Lead off walk, and that'll bring Abreu Garcia, who had a big night, 3 hits last night.
This was against Jay Happ, and it was a long one. Exit velocity of 117 miles per hour, hit it over 480 feet, the longest home run in this ballpark. He's got some power, and they love putting him in that number 2 spot. Last year, he was hitting behind Jose Abreu. This year, he's hitting in front of him. He says, you know what, with the speed of Moncada in front of me and the great bat of Abreu behind me, I'm going to get a lot of fastballs. Look for him to have a good year.
Man at first base, he's a first pitch swinger, and he takes one downstairs. Garcia very aggressive. Boy, the trend around baseball is to put big hitters in the 2 spot. You see it all the time. Of course, the Blue Jays do it with Donaldson.
Donaldson, I was looking at that today. The Angels have Mike Trout hitting in the number 2 hole. You see Bregman for Houston hitting in the number 2 hole for the Astros.
Hot shot to third. Donaldson has it. Second for 1. Back to first in time. Good adjustment by Devin Travis at second. Donaldson didn't make a perfect throw to him, but because Travis was there early, he was able to make that good transfer, get to the outside of the bag, and continue the double play.
And he doesn't have to deal with the runner. He's not going to try and take him out at second base, just like in his first start of the season for Aaron Sanchez. He gave up a hit to Gardner, then a double play to Judge. He gives up a walk, and now an easy double play to get Garcia.
Blue Jays infielders have been very busy in the early going, and they've done a good job turning those double plays. Here is Abreu, who takes the first pitch strike. That's the 9th ground ball double play the Blue Jays have turned so far this season.
In the opening, excuse me, Buck, we were talking about that he'll give up his share of hits and he'll give up his share of walks. But he's got that good, hard, sinking fastball that helps him to get those ground balls. Hit him right at him like that. Let your defense help you out a little bit.
That's a good changeup. Boy, the bottom fell out of that thing. Aaron, he really worked hard on that changeup all spring long. He's really trying to soften it up even more than what it is right now.
It's still a little bit too hard at 90 miles an hour with that changeup. He'd like to get it 10 to 12 miles per hour less than his fastball. And we have seen some 97s and some 98s with that fastball.
Aaron's just 25 years old, and he is learning how to start. This is his 51st career start. He has now logged just over 300 innings as a starter. Good breaking ball. He gets the strikeout. Leadoff walk, double play, and a strikeout. 3 up, 3 down, no problem for Aaron Sanchez. Jose Abreu was 5 for 8 coming into this game in the series. He strikes out in his first at bat. Two-run home runs. John Gibbons, the skipper of the Blue Jays. This is his lineup tonight, and why not keep a good thing going? Josh Donaldson in that 2 spotter. We have mentioned he has 14 career home runs against the White Sox, and he's been terrific against Chicago. He's done all that damage in just 35 career games. Justin Smoke in his last 5 games hitting .421 with 5 extra base hits and 9 RBIs.
Blue Jays will face Carson Fulmer tonight. The 24-year-old right-hander makes his first start of the season and his first career start against Toronto. Former first-round draft pick just a couple of seasons ago out of Vanderbilt University. Fulmer was the 8th player overall chosen by the White Sox in 2015.
Vanderbilt can produce some pitchers, and they produce first-round pitchers. Evan Travis pops it up over near the seats. Matt Davidson over on the warning track, and he never got there. Never really found the railing, kind of drifted with it, and it falls safely on the warning track and bounces into the seat. Davidson
probably would have been an easier play for the second baseman Moncada because his angle's a little bit better. You can see Davis wasn't really comfortable at all going after that ball. Look at the angle that Moncada with more speed has. But he looked like he was called off early on and gave up on that ball.
Devin Travis did not play in the game last night, and that's by design. They want to make sure they keep him as healthy as possible, and Devin's just 1 for 16 so far this season. He's drawn 1 walk and struck out 8 times in the early going. Broken bat on the changeup. Sanchez to Davidson. 1 away. Well, Josh Donaldson, he's got a streak of 5 straight games against the White Sox with a home run.
Second time in his career that he has done that. First home run in this one was on Monday. A fastball that he takes down the right field line. That is a good sign when he's taking fastballs away like that and hitting them that far. And then the second one was a splitter on the inner half. He said, I don't know how I hit it, but I was able to barrel it up and get it out of the ballpark. In one of those grooves right now, and he just missed another home run later in the ball game yesterday, right off the top of the wall. And you got to be careful in the first inning with him. He had 33 home runs last year, 15 of them in the first inning.
It's amazing how Donaldson can get his timing down very quickly despite not getting many at bats in spring training. He had 27 at bats in spring training and didn't have an extra base hit. First time the Blue Jays have seen Fulmer. Donaldson is a quick study. We mentioned his career numbers against the White Sox, a .344 average, 14 home runs, 34 RBIs, and a grand total of 35 games.
There are just certain teams, right, you just feel locked in on.
I never found mine. Takes one off the plate inside. It's 3-0. Well, obviously, you're going to give him the green light as Fulmer falls behind 3-0. When Donaldson is locked in, you turn him loose.
Yeah, Gibby does that. He will give his veteran players the opportunity to swing 3-0.
Don't want to swing at that one.
Yeah, that's an out. 3-0, he paints the outside corner. You look for something, a certain pitch, and then you look for that pitch in a certain location. If you don't get it, go ahead and take it.
He walks, a 1-out walk for Donaldson. Take a look at the defense behind Carson Fulmer. Nicky Delmonico in left. Adam Engel, he can really run. He's in center. In fact, this outfield can really go get him.
Yeah, and one change for the White Sox. Matt Davidson will get his first start over at first base. Played 19 games there last season, 34 at third base last year. This is his first game at first. He's going to spell Jose Abreu and give him a chance to get off of his feet. Got to keep his bat in the lineup.
This is Justin Smoke batting with Donaldson at first. I'm sure the Blue Jay hitters are going to want to take a look at Carson Fulmer, not having faced him in the past.
Yeah, you can look at all the tape you want, but you got to get in there and face him and see what the thing's doing, what the ball is doing. He finished off very strong last year. September, his ERA had one of the lowest in all of baseball, 1.6.
That's a cut fastball that he'll throw inside to the lefties. It's a pitch he can get in on their hands, and that last pitch was a good one. And right back with it, and Smoke strikes out, 2 away now.
You can see why Fulmer was a #1 draft pick a few seasons ago. Fastball, slider, he can cut it. He's got a changeup. That's the slider. That's got some late movement to it and gets under the bat. His first strikeout of the night.
Curtis Granderson hitting in the cleanup spot tonight. Granderson 5 for 18. He too looks at that first fastball from Fulmer. Looking for his first home run of the year. Granderson had a triple and a double and scored a pair of runs last night. He also knocked one in.
And out of necessity, the last couple of nights, he's had to face lefties late in the game. And he's had some really good at-bats out of necessity because Steve Pearce has been unavailable, been feeling a little bit under the weather. So John Gibbons has let Curtis hit against lefties, and he's had some good at-bats against him.
His RBI double in the game last night came off of Hector Santiago, the lefty. Ball and a strike to Granderson. We saw Pearce on the dugout bench feeling a bit better. He took batting practice this evening. Tried to get that ball inside and missed. Getting that glove side command is a key for Don Cooper's pitchers to be able to get that ball inside the lefties and down and away to the righties.
He's got a developing changeup, and he actually can cut the ball with his changeup. That's his changeup right there.
How does he cut it?
He's got what they call, like a Fosh grip. It's not your normal three-finger changeup grip. He kind of splits his fingers just a little bit. And in spring training, Don Cooper was calling it a chutter. It's a cross between a change and a cutter, so he can get some movement that way with it.
Granderson hits it hard past the second baseman into right. Donaldson will go around second. He's headed for third. He'll get there easily as Curtis Granderson gets a two-out single.
I've been very impressed with the base running of the Blue Jays on this homestand. Their ability to go first and third, reading the ball off the bat, tagging up and getting themselves into scoring position. They've noticed that Avisail Garcia plays a deep right field. So every runner at first base can go first to third, and you can see Garcia how deep he is to cut that ball off and get it back into the infield. That allows Donaldson easily to make it first and third.
And Ledmus Diaz did a good job of base running last night in the sixth inning when he tagged at first base and moved into scoring position on a long fly ball to left. Then Donaldson knocked him in. Randall Grichuk hitting in the fifth spot tonight. There's that off-speed pitch. That time I had a little sink on it. 1-1 now. Blue Jays trying to break through here in the bottom of the first. The Blue Jays have trailed in each of the first two games of this series and come back to win them both. Inside.
Late game heroics, putting the pedal to the metal late in the ball games. I think that goes with their at-bats. Seem so much better this year, taking them deeper into the count, hitting better with two strikes, battling all the way through. Grichuk now has found himself in a fastball count.
Let's see if he gets a fastball. 2-1. He got a fastball. Might have been a splitter again.
Yeah,
that little Fosh thing with
Fosh change.
Late movement.
That one went down and in to Grichuk. You can see it if you peek into his glove. There's the Fosh. See how he splits his fingers? But he's got three fingers on the ball. Around baseball, they call that the Fosh grip.
Two balls and two strikes, two outs, runners at the corners. Donaldson walked. He moved to third on a single by Curtis Granderson, who's at first. Little tapper up the third baseline foul. Pat, you mentioned how the Blue Jays have done such a great job of grinding out at bats, especially late in games. They've scored 17 of their 33 runs in the 7th inning or later.
And normally that's against some really good pitching. The back end of those games. They're at it again here in the first inning. This will be pitch number 23 for Fulmer, and it's only the first.
Plus, it's Fulmer's first start of the season. There's a little cutter off the end of the bat for the strikeout. Fulmer strands a pair with a couple of strikeouts. He strikes out Grichuk to end the bottom of the first.
His arm strength is at after that bout with dead arm. Donaldson put it at this, around 85 to 90%. But Blue Jays fans shouldn't be too worried. Donaldson explained that he has remembered some sound advice from his teammate Troy Tulowitzki. Quote, "Not every throw that we make is at max effort. You actually don't want to always throw at max effort," Donaldson said. "You want to have the ability to get there, yes, but most of the throws we're making is not everything we have." Donaldson said he's comfortable in changing arm angles right now and feels that if he needed to add a little more zip into his throws, he knows he has that in the tank. And Buck, an update now on Aledmus Diaz, who left last night's ballgame with back spasms. He told me he feels better. He felt good enough to take BP with the team. And according to manager John Gibbons, the night off is just precautionary. And with tomorrow's off day, he said he should be good to go in Texas.
Yeah, that's great news, and we saw him take BP tonight, so obviously just a little tweak. In the way that Gibby has used his bench, everybody's getting into the mix early, and I think that's important.
I think it's very important. You come out of spring training, guys, at least the bench guys are playing and they're getting their at-bats. The last thing you want to do is have them sit around for a week and get rusty.
Yeah, you come right out of spring training and just can't have guys sit around and not get any action. You need to get them into the flow of things, and John's done that. It's the 7th game of the season, and everybody feels like they're a part of it. Matt Davidson, we mentioned his rough series, 0 for 9 with 4 strikeouts.
He's got some power, though, so you got to keep the ball either in or up on him. Blue Jays have had some success in the first 2 games by elevating fastballs against Davidson.
Sanchez falls behind 3-1. Davidson's got power. 3 home runs in the season opener for Chicago. He hits this ball down the left field line. That ball is going to be gone. He really didn't get all of that thing. He is so strong. That ball got in on him a bit, but he knocks it out of the ballpark. That's his first hit in this series.
26 of them last year for Davidson. That's why they have him hitting in that 4 hole, because he can hit home runs. Ball was really tailing in on him, and he just muscled that ball down the left field line.
We got one, fool!
The White Sox well aware of his struggles in this series, and as we mentioned, he's now 1 for 10. And this is his 4th home run of the season to give the Sox a 1-0 lead.
He was out here early. I ran into him about 2 o'clock at the ballpark today, hitting down in the cages, trying to refine that swing and get it back to that home run swing. Got off to a great start this year with the 3 home runs, but the Blue Jays have handled him.
Nicky Delmonico, the left fielder, hits it way down in the corner, but it's just a row back into the seats and out of play.
Sanchez's fastball did not get in there enough, and they've had some success going up in the strike zone against him and then breaking balls away.
Aaron's timing is just a little bit off right now. He's just a little bit late with his hand. It's not out in front getting that downward sink, kind of running flat.
It's sideways sink right now. Movement is his changeup. You're seeing that on his changeup.
The breaking ball is good. That's the second strikeout for Sanchez. They've both been on the curveball.
First one against Abreu, and that's where you want to throw. You don't show him that good hard breaking ball till you get to 2 strikes. Tough to pick that one up.
Wellington Castillo, the 30-year-old catcher, he signed right away in the offseason as a free agent. He signed on the 1st of December. Maybe he sensed what was going on in the free agent market, and he signed quickly.
2 years, 15 or 16 million.
Got an option for a 3rd year at $8 million.
Yeah, 15 million for 2 years. It's a good pickup for the White Sox.
Well, he is a good catcher. You know, he doesn't get noticed as a good catcher because he's always been regarded as an offensive guy. He had 20 home runs last year for Baltimore, had a 14-homer season in Arizona in 16. He had a 19 home run season in 2015. He split his time between Seattle and the Cubs.
Castillo says he liked the idea of rejoining the White Sox manager Rick Renteria. Rick had him when he was the manager of the Cubs, and Castillo played for him on the north side of Chicago. Renteria says he does a tremendous job with the young pitchers, and they've got a lot of young pitching coming. So you got to get a veteran backstop.
Well, and Chu, he's been empowered by the pitching coach. When you have Lopez, young guys in your rotation, and Don Cooper says, you know what, I'm going to give you the responsibility for carrying that game plan throughout the course of the ball game. Sanchez gets another strikeout. 2 away. The Pitch Tracker is brought to you by Coors Light, official beer of Major League Baseball. 2 away here in the top of the second. Chicago, on the strength of a leadoff home run this inning by Matt Davidson, has taken a 1-0 lead. So the White Sox have had the lead in each of the 3 games in this series, but the Blue Jays have won the first 2. Remember, Sanchez did not start in the game last night. He started in the opener on Monday night. He came into the ball game as a pinch hitter in the 6th inning. He reached on an error, and then he homered off of Tyler Clippard in the 8th. His first home run of the season.
Well, they got to get it just a little bit closer, so they offer at it. The White Sox have done a good job of laying off that changeup early on.
Sanchez got that ball in a good spot, right inside on the hands of Sanchez, the hitter.
It's like the Garcias who we had the other night. We had Jaime Garcia, we had Aviciel Garcia, Lurie Garcia. Back to the curveball.
Boy, he was sitting on that pitch, and he rips it down the right field line up against the wall. He picks up his third base coach, but stops at second with a 2-out double. He had watched the previous at-bats, the curveball struck out Castillo. Abreu, when the first struck out on a curveball with 2 strikes, and Sanchez went back to it.
Especially the Delmonico at bat a couple of batters ago, 2 strikes. That's the pitch that Delmonico struck out on. Sanchez, watch him wait back, no stride. He was sitting all over that curveball waiting for it. Just uses his hands, and he's got plenty of pop to get it off the wall for extra bases.
A 2-out double. He's in scoring position for Tim Anderson. Anderson drops down into the 8th spot tonight in this lineup. Anderson had a heck of a game last night. 3 for 4, a couple of singles and a home run. He also chipped in with 2 stolen bases. And he gets demoted.
Scored 3 runs. That was against the left-hander Jay Happ. Tonight against the righty, they drop him down into the 8th hole.
Yomer Sanchez really had a big lead at second, and Aaron stepped off, chased him back. Devin Travis will move in a little bit closer. With 2 outs, you don't want him to get a huge lead at second. Bouncing ball in Gope. It's short. Fires in time. He gets a speedy Tim Anderson. But the White Sox get a couple of hits. They score a run. A leadoff home run off the bat of Matt Davidson. His 4th of this young season. Chicago leads it 1-0.
We've been fans since day one. Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays, and proud fans since 1977.
Been an interesting weather day in Toronto. Actually snowing today, and the wind was howling. It was cold outside. Thank goodness for a roof. Russell Martin takes the first pitch off the plate inside. Russell's 2 for 11 so far this season. He has a homer. He's driven in a pair. Two and 0 now. Russell's obviously a very key part of this Blue Jays ball club, and I think the one thing that they're really going to try to do is just keep him as fresh as possible. He's 35 years old. Got Luke Mailey behind him, and Luke's off to a good start with the bat.
2 on, 1 off. I think that's the plan right now. You get an off day tomorrow.
Little roller, the third baseman pulls out of the way of Anderson, and Yomer Sanchez did a nice job. 1 away.
Let's take a look at the scouting report for young Carson Fulmer. Again, he was a first-round draft pick for the White Sox in 2015. Fastball, cutter, changeup, curveball. He'll use that changeup. It's a pitch that he's starting to develop and getting a lot of confidence in. We've seen him sink the fastball a little bit tonight and a little bit of a breaking ball. He's not polished yet as a big leaguer yet because he walks too many people, still walks too many.
Morales goes after the first pitch. Moncada from the outfield throws him out.
So I think what the Blue Jays did in the first inning was a good thing where they really made him work. And he threw 24 pitches in the first inning.
Well, they haven't seen him before, and it only makes sense. You go up there and have a look at him, and he was a little bit erratic getting into the strike zone. Even in his minor league, excuse me, Pat, he was only 13 and 19 in 3 years in the minors.
And had a rough spring this year, but you can see the talent. He just has to polish it off and gain some experience, pitch in the big leagues. There'll be games where he takes his lumps, but I think there's going to be games where he's going to be really good too.
He was 1-4 in the spring with 1181 earned run average. He gave up 14 earned runs in 10 2/3. Kevin Pillar batting with 2 outs and nobody on. Outside. Missed inside with the heater, missed outside, pulled that one out of the strike zone. Kevin's off to a good start. 8 hits and 21 at bats. A .381 average. No reason not to take that one. You're getting your first look at a starting pitcher.
And I think you're feeling confident. Take that one. 2 outs, nobody on. Now later in the game, you might have a couple of guys in scoring position. It's 2-0. That's when you're looking for that fastball again.
Fastball upstairs, fouled out of play. It's 2-2. We mentioned throughout the series how shallow the White Sox outfielders play, and they're shallow once again with Pillar at the plate. They can all run. They have been burned a couple of times. Balls hit over their heads because they had played shallow. Good take. Fastball off the plate. Full count to Pillar. Giftin Gope, the shortstop, number 9 hitter, is on deck. Strike 3 call. Fastball hits the outside corner. 3 strikeouts for Fulmer through 2 innings. In 2016 and 2017, he made just 8 starts, and he had an idea in spring training that he wanted to make an adjustment.
Yeah, there was an effort to work on and improve the changeup. In 2017, if you look at the pie chart, only 7% is made up of changeups, 77% fastballs. Well, in his last start, that jumped up to 19% changeup, so almost 3 times more changeups, fewer curveballs, and about the same amount of fastballs. So he's got confidence in that changeup. He's starting to work it into what he throws when he takes the mound. And it's that third pitch. Every pitcher talks about, I need that third pitch, and he's mastering it.
There's a good changeup, and you can see how much movement he gets on that changeup. He got Adam Engel to chase. It's now 1-1 on the center fielder.
And he's throwing fewer curveballs, at least through his first couple of starts in this year. But I contend he's using it at the right time with 2 strikes.
You saw those last 2 pitches. The first of the last 2 was a changeup. The second one was in the same spot, but it was a fastball, 94 miles an hour, 5 miles an hour harder, and all Engel could do was tap it foul. See those last 2 pitches, tough spot, and you're talking about 5 miles an hour harder on the second of those 2.
And here comes another one, and he gets a strikeout with it. It's down. That's where he wants to live.
Well, he had all of those pitches to Engel in good spots, and this changeup, you can see the grip is very effective.
Yeah, it's the middle 2 fingers where he applies the pressure. It's almost like a 2-seamer where he throws it off those 2 fingers, so he'll get the sink, but because it's in his fingertips, it works like a changeup.
Little tapper out in front of home. Sanchez takes his time, makes a nice play to retire Moncada. 2 quick outs here in the third for Sanchez.
Well, after you release that baseball, you're a fielder. You got to field your position, and Aaron can do that. He does the right thing. He knows he's got to hurry with Moncada. He surrounds the ball, breaks it down, and then grabs it and creates a nice little angle to throw that ball over to first base.
Well, I'll tell you what, that wasn't an easy play for Smoke. He's only about 30 feet away from Aaron Sanchez, and Aaron had to throw it hard. There's a lot of movement on it. He made a nice catch. 2 away. This is obviously Garcia. He hit into a double play his first time up.
This is the key spot, I think, in the White Sox lineup for Sanchez. 2-3. He handled them last year. In fact, he had the lowest opponent's batting average in a lineup with your number 2 and your number 3 hitter. These are arguably their best hitters right here. Garcia and Abreu. He's going to have to handle them tonight.
Well, man, you had talked about it in the first inning, how everybody's putting great hitters in that 2 spot, and Sanchez has been able to neutralize them. Two balls and a strike to the right fielder, Garcia. This is just the second career start for Aaron against Chicago. Boy, that is a tough pitch. Look where those last 2 strikes are, off the plate inside with great movement. They start on the plate, but the movement takes them down and in.
And as a hitter, you see fastball, you see BP fastball, just 89 miles an hour, but he's got some good sink on it.
We mentioned this is the 51st start for Aaron. And as he gains more experience, he's going to be able to figure out how to throw that fastball at less than 100%. Slicing into the second deck, foul. And I think that's the one thing when you really become a top-rated pitcher, you learn how to trust throwing pitches at less than 100%. Whether it's your breaking ball or your fastball, where you can just go, here, I'm going to take the spin out of the sting out of your bat with my velocity and do it with a fastball.
And less becomes more.
That might have been a 4-seam fastball. He got it right at the bottom of the zone for the strikeout. 5 strikeouts in the early going for Sanchez. He gets Garcia looking at strike 3.
Become a standout leader in Jays Care's Home Run Scholars Program. Stay tuned all season long for more stories of how the Blue Jays brand is acting as a catalyst to inspire positive social change from coast to coast to coast. Visit jayscare.com/unstoppablekids to learn more. Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazel. Bottom of the third inning, the White Sox have a 1-0 lead. Number 9 hitter for the Jays is Gift Ngope. Oh, and 2. Ngope, 28 years old. This is his second opportunity in the major leagues. Last year, he made his debut with the Pirates, got into 28 games. Drove in 6, hit .222 in 54 at bats. Breaking ball. Anderson fires in time, 1 away. So the Blue Jays getting their first time through the order. They've managed a walk and a single and nothing more against Carson Fulmer.
3 strikeouts and 4 ground ball outs. So his fastball, his pitches are moving right now. Blue Jays haven't been able to elevate them just yet. Again, he had one of the lowest earned run averages in September of last season in baseball. There are high hopes in Chicago with some of the young pitchers that they have developed and are developing in their minor league system.
We saw Reynaldo Lopez in the opener, and he was very impressive. They also have Lucas Giolito in their rotation now. Another young, hard-throwing righty. Dylan Cease. And they have a bunch of good arms coming, but Lopez, and you and I both mentioned it, how similar he is to Luis Severino of the Yankees.
Throws 98 with not a lot of effort. Just scratching the surface, just starting out as a player.
One ball and 2 strikes to Devin Travis. Travis grounded out the third, his first time up. Carson Fulmer, 24 years old. He was the 8th pick in the 2015 draft out of Vanderbilt. And that has been quite a pitching factory. We mentioned Vanderbilt. There's a great coach there, Tim Corbin. He's the head coach. And some of the names that have come out of Vanderbilt as first-round picks, David Price, of course. He was first overall in 2007. Also, Mike Minor came out in 2007 as well, and we'll see him in Texas for the Rangers over the weekend. He was a first-round pick. Then you have more recently Walker Buehler, 2015, a big prospect for the Dodgers. Tyler Beede with the Giants. He was drafted in 2014. Sonny Gray, a first-rounder in 2011 for Oakland. Vanderbilt has really done a great job of developing pitching.
Yeah, these aren't just guys that you pick up in the 15th to 20th round. They're high draft picks.
You can go way back into '77, of course, a much different program at that time. But Scott Sanderson came out of Vanderbilt as a 3rd-round pitch. He was drafted by the Expos. 2-2 to Devin Travis. Called strike 3. Breaking ball on the outside corner. 4 strikeouts for Fulmer.
Gotta like his slider. It's hard, it's sharp, and he's been putting it so far tonight in a good spot. Watch the rotation, just a little pitch just to get it off that plane of the fastball. From overhead, that is right on the corner. Not outside, right on the corner.
2 outs. That'll bring Josh Donaldson to the plate. Donaldson drew a walk his first time up. He was one of 2 base runners stranded in the first inning. A curveball there that kind of backed up and caught the inside corner.
We haven't seen too many of those tonight.
He's getting those breaking balls in good spots. Donaldson with 2 strikes more than likely will think about a breaking ball and try to fight off the fastball should Fulmer throw it.
Yeah, if he does throw him a fastball, I guarantee you he's going to foul it down the right field line.
Breaking ball hit off the end of the bat, and that's going to hang up for Garcia. Quick inning for Carson Fulmer. We played 3 here at Rogers Center. The White Sox have a 1-0 lead.
Shy about expressing his emotions. Many times our broadcast cameras have caught him dancing in front of the dugout. With the help of interpreter Josue Pele, Solarte told me he doesn't try to be anybody else, not doing it for the cameras, not forcing anything, quote, "It's just me." Take, for example, when Solarte saw Kevin Pillar's steal of home, he told me he was so excited for him. Solarte had never witnessed anything like that before, so he just started dancing. Quote, "When I see my teammates doing something so well, it makes me so happy. I want to just bring everyone together." And Buck general manager Ross Atkins said what attracted him into signing Solarte: infield versatility, his track record on offense, and just as important, he was a great clubhouse guy.
That aspect of it, that clubhouse presence, is very important in this day and age. When you put guys together for 7 months, basically, you better have a good mix in that clubhouse, and Solarte certainly has added that to this ball club. Solarte is from Valencia, Venezuela, and he plays a lot of winter ball. He has in the past, and that's the type of emotion and energy you see in winter ball. Venezuela, Dominican, Puerto Rico, Mexico. It's just a fun atmosphere.
Having fun playing the game of baseball.
High fly ball, Grichuk over it to the corner. That's going to stay fair, and he stays with it, makes the catch. So Abreu is retired.
You and I had a nice talk with Tim Leeper today, who handles the outfielders. Leap was telling us how happy he is with Grichuk and the way he has played right field. Remember, he came up as a center fielder. He has switched over to right field. Gives the pitchers a lot of confidence to challenge hitters and let them hit it into the outfield.
Leeper has that scouting report card in his hand. He's always keeping track of his outfielders. It was really interesting to hear how he prepares to defend against these teams. He will look at the overall spray charts, but then he will go back and look at the previous 80 at-bats of the individual hitters to see where they hit the ball, who they hit the ball against, what type of pitch. So that's how precise he is when he moves these guys around.
Yeah, it's not 80 at-bats of the Chicago White Sox. It's 80 at-bats of Matt Davidson, let's say. Who he hit it against.
Big hop for Donaldson, testing that arm, and what a job by Smoke. Oh, Justin Smoke, he knows that he's not going to get that laser throw from Donaldson, and you've really got to be patient to dig these balls out of the dirt. Needed a terrific job helping out Donaldson.
Josh was out here early working with Louis Rivera on this type of throw where you are running towards home plate and throwing across your body. The way Smokey went and got that one, there's the throw. That's what he was working on. But look at that ball right on the lip, and you're not sure if it's going to stay down or if it's going to go up. But you get down there as low as possible, like Smokey did, and it makes it a little bit easier. Still a tough play, but it makes it a little bit easier.
Well, when you know you've got Justin Smoke over at first base, it takes a lot of pressure off the infielders because they have a feeling of just get it in the area, and Smokey will catch it. Nicky Delmonico hits a high pop up to left, and Granderson makes the play. 3 up, 3 down for Aaron. Just 7 pitches. He retires the side in order. Good play by Donaldson. Good play by Smoke.
Swinging a belt with Dan Shulman. Go behind the scenes with personal stories from the game. It all starts tomorrow, Buck.
Dan Shulman, he was in Anaheim last night, and he got a chance to see Shohei Ohtani hit his first big league home run. And if he stayed over to watch game 2, he saw Ohtani hit his second big league home run. And even more impressive, number 2 was hit off Corey Kluber. Ohtani with 2 more hits today. He's 2 for 4 with a couple of ribbies. He's hitting .462 in the early going, and he has a W as a pitcher.
He's DHing today. Maybe he can come in and pitch.
They're in the 12th extra inning game. It's his throw day. Wouldn't that be something? Why not? Justin Smoke. Smoke struck out his first time up. They pounded him inside, and you can bet he's thinking about the inner half.
That was designed to be inside. Fastballs early, breaking balls late. His first at bat, he struck out on a good hard slider from Fulmer. He says, when I try to hit home runs, I don't. I just got to try and hit the ball hard.
That one's hit hard, deep to center field. Engel gets back and drops it. That ball went off his glove. He got to it. Looked like he might have taken his eye off the baseball right at the end, but he can really run down balls hit hard. He was there, but just dropped it.
And he plays a shallow center field to take balls, base hits, away from the batters. So anything over his head, he's got to read it right away, and he does. Right over his head, he spins and turns and then gets there. That ball might have been knuckling on him just a little bit. He misses it.
Watch how quickly he looks away. He took his eye off that ball before it hit his glove. It popped out of his glove. That should be a double for Smoke, and it is.
Hey, when you hit a ball that hard, it better be a double.
Leadoff double here in the fourth. Boy, Smoke hit that ball hard. Just didn't get it up in the air enough. Curtis Granderson had a base hit to the right side of the infield his first time up. This ball is hit in the air. Garcia is not going to make the catch off his glove. Smoke had to hold and made sure it was safely down. He moves to third, and Granderson ends up at second. Back-to-back doubles for the Jays here in the fourth.
That ball looked like it had some top spin on it, created by Granderson as he got out there and hooked the ball to right field, and it handcuffed Garcia, the right fielder. You can see how that ball then starts to die. He gets to it, but it's off of his glove. Back-to-back doubles. He stretches, but he's not there.
Granderson is 4 for his last 6 with 3 extra base hits. Garcia had to go off the end of his glove. Blue Jays runners at second and third. Randall Grichuk takes that breaking ball away. Grichuk struck out to end the bottom of the first. Pop back out of play. Randall got a good pitch to hit. Curtis Granderson, the veteran, he will keep his eye on the outfield, just make sure where everybody is. Should there be a base hit, he'll be able to read it very well.
Get him
Reminding
over.
himself there are no outs.
Yeah, no outs. Watch the line drive. Get him over and get him in, all with one swing. I think that's the mindset that Grichuk has to have.
Fly ball to right field. Slicing away from Garcia. It's into the seats, out of play. Well, that's the approach you want in this situation. Hit something in the air, big part of the field. Don't try to pull it.
Well, he struck out last time up on a slider down and away. Yeah, you got to protect the plate now. With 2 strikes, you've got runners in scoring position. Protect that plate. Put it in play.
Blue Jays were 7 for 14 with runners in scoring position last night. Tap back to the mound. Smoke has to hold at third. Grichuk taps back to the pitcher.
The 2018 Civic. When it leads off, it leads for good. Honda, proud fan since 1977 and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Cool evening in Toronto, but it's comfortable inside, and the Blue Jays are trying to warm things up here in their half of the fourth. They trail 1-0. They have a pair of doubles here this inning by Smoke and Granderson. Now Russell Martin batting with 1 out. The White Sox will concede a run on a ground ball to the infield.
I think everywhere but first base. Justin Smoke did a heck of a job holding up on that comebacker to Fulmer. Your first reaction is, I want to go fast and try and score the run, but the ball, you got to make sure it gets by the pitcher. He held up, and now anything in the middle of the diamond on the ground is going to get a run.
Ground ball to the shortstop. Anderson thought about coming home, but he'll take the out at first. And Martin has tied the game with an RBI, his 3rd of the season.
A much more controlled swing that time. The first pitch looked like he was trying to crank the ball and get it into the outfield. That time with 1 strike, he said, okay, I just played pepper with the shortstop. I'm going to get myself an RBI and tie this ball game up.
Just being aware of the situation, Russell picks up the RBI, and we are tied at 1. Granderson still in scoring position at second. Kendrys Morales grounded out to the second baseman. Fulmer's done a good job of getting that cutter and slider to the inside part of the plate to lefty hitters.
Yeah, both of them. The righties, he's throwing some beauties to them. 4 strikeouts through 3 2/3 innings, and then sliders hit on the lefties. Blue Jays are going to have to adjust. It's a ball. It's off the plate, so they're going to have to adjust and start taking it.
Fulmer quickly ahead, 0-2. Back-to-back doubles by Smoke and Granderson to start the inning. Smoke scored on the ground out off the bat of Russell Martin. A little bit better pitch to hit there. It was out over the plate a bit. Morales picked up his first hit of the season in the 8th inning and an RBI single to right. Part of that 7-run 8th inning that the Blue Jays put up last night. Changeup for the strikeout, but the Blue Jays tie it up. Couple of doubles. It's a 1-1 game as we head to the 5th time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Joe Siddle in the Samsung broadcast.
Will get a hit, and your streak continues. Be the first to reach 57 games and win $5.6 million. Download the Beat the Streak app today.
It's a great contest, so check it out. And you know what? Normally you can pick a guy like Charlie Blackmon who's been red hot to keep your streak alive, but sometimes that doesn't work out either. There are some hot hitters around baseball, and you got to make sure you stay hot with those guys.
If I ever play that game, and I don't think I ever will, because I'm not real good at that kind of stuff, how do you not take Jose Altuve every night?
Yeah, I mean, every night. You'd think he's going to get a hit every single night.
That's where I would start.
You know, we had so much information throughout the course of a day on all the games around baseball. If I were picking the streak tonight, I'd take Nolan Arenado against Clayton Richards. He's 10 for 16.
Okay. Giving away your secrets.
10 for 16.
Whew. That sounds like Bryce Harper against Julio Teheran, doesn't it?
Harper hit his 8th career home run against Teheran last night. It was quite a night for home runs. Christian Villanueva of the Padres hit 3 home runs. He's got 7 home runs in his first 40 major league at-bats. Came up last year and hit some home runs. Sanchez now in a 1-1 game. It's 2-2 on Wellington Castillo, the catcher. Sanchez got him on a breaking ball back in the 2nd. This time he lays off him. Full count. Yolmer Sanchez, the third baseman, is on deck, and Sanchez walks Castillo to start the fifth. Second walk issued by Aaron.
Hit a home run with any project this season. Home Hardware, proud sponsor of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Interesting shot of CN Tower right next door to Rogers Center. Leadoff walk here in the fifth. Yolmer Sanchez doubled back in the second inning, but he was stranded.
This guy's been a tough out against the Blue Jays.
In the opener, he came to the plate 4 times. He was hit by a pitch twice, walked, and struck out. 0 for 1 officially, but he was on base 3 times.
Yeah, homered yesterday, and he's already had a double tonight. Aaron walked the leadoff batter, but he's always got that hard sinking fastball. If you put it in a good spot and get that ground ball, he can get 2.
One and 2. Blue Jays turned to double play back in the first inning. Their 9th ground ball double play of the season. This is their 7th game.
Hit a double off of a curveball that he was looking for with 2 strikes his first time up.
With a changeup, nice play by Martin. Matt Davidson with a home run, his 4th of the season. The only run for Chicago they have but 2 hits. The Davidson home run and the Sanchez double. He's swinging the bat really well right now. You can see it the way he separates his stride and his hands. There's good separation there, and when he fires, he's got a lot in that swing.
Yeah, there's basically no stride, but he's moving his hands back. Watch this. No stride. Pick up that heel and then just drop it straight down. That's a quiet swing.
Base hit through the right side. Castillo will stop at second. Vichik threw behind him, but he gets back safely. So Sanchez has doubled and singled off Aaron Sanchez.
You know, when you see a hitter like that, it looks like he's waiting for a breaking ball. And the Blue Jays did the right thing trying to pump the fastball in there. But Yolmer Sanchez just a little bit too quick. All hands. Quickens up that bat, shortens up that swing, rips it into right field. See how they play it now. I don't know if they're going to bunt. Take the bat out of Anderson's hand. I don't know if you want to bunt for the number 9 hitter in your lineup.
I agree with you. I don't think they're going to bunt here, and they are. They square to show the bunt at least. Tim Anderson has 3 home runs so far. You can see Rick Renteria pounding his fists together. That generally means swing the bat.
Gibby's going to have to diffuse this right here. I'm not sure home plate umpire Greg Gibson's happy with some of the
antics.
Yeah, antics.
Well, Aaron's shown a couple of pitches he thought were close, and John Gibbons, he will spend a mound visit just to make sure he helps Aaron regroup. And you can see Greg Gibson indicating that indeed was the first mound visit of this ball game.
I think Aaron thought he had Castillo on a strike. It was a high strike, but it was called a ball. And then on that first pitch to Anderson, he thought he clipped the outside corner.
So now, after Tim Anderson showed bunt, the corners are in for the Blue Jays infield. Guarding against the bunt. Smoke creeping in at first, and yeah, you know, Renteria said, hey, what are you doing? You know, you might think that's a good move, but there it is again. Swing the bat.
Yeah, well, first of all, you don't have a very fast runner at second base, so the bunt has to be perfect. Even if you are successful, you're bunting with the number 9 guy coming up next. So I think Anderson, 3 hits last night, let him swing away.
Yeah, it's a situation. I mean, you just pay attention to where you are. You get leadoff walk, and then your 7-hitter gets a base hit. Now, Tim Anderson, yeah, he's hitting 8th, but he's got 3 home runs and 4 RBIs. You don't want to bunt him over, give up an out, and then pitch to the number 9 hitter. You could have second and third and 2 outs.
And 2 outs.
That one hurt.
He's going to think twice about swinging at that inside fastball next time. That one looked like it got him right off the instep.
Another good example of how much movement Aaron gets with that changeup. Inside the knee.
Yeah, inside the knee, not off the foot.
That's why a lot of the hitters you see now wear those shin guards, trying to protect themselves from that exact situation.
Didn't Mark Teixeira foul a ball off of his foot like that and break his shin? Missed the rest of the season a couple of years ago.
There have been several instances where batters put themselves on the DL just like that. Another good pitch, sinking fastball. I can think of Dustin Pedroia, Matt Williams, Jermaine Dye. Jermaine Dye broke his leg. Hit one right off the shin. Yeah, we make a lot of fun of it in the dugout. You know, you just get all kinds of yip, yip, yip,
no,
yip.
Yeah, until it happens to you, then you're like, stop it. Not a good feeling.
There's another strikeout. Boy, that ball is really moving. All those pitches down and in. Very difficult for Anderson to get wood on it.
And showing the confidence to go to that changeup. Picks up his 6th strikeout. The Super Slow-Mo is brought to you by the Samsung S9 and S9 Plus. The camera reimagined. Available now. And you can see the grip right there from Aaron. Sanchez picks up a big strikeout.
The White Sox had just 15 strikeouts in their first 2 games of the season. Aaron has 6 tonight. That's 30 strikeouts in 3 games for the White Sox here in this 3-game series. Blue Jay pitchers struck out 10 in game 1, 14 in game 2, and they have 6 so far. Herm Snyder, his 66th birthday, longtime trainer. Start out with the Yankees. Happy birthday, Hermie.
He is synonymous with White Sox baseball.
Sanchez hits the number 9 hitter to load the bases. That's the last thing he wanted to do. So the bases are loaded with 1 out.
He's trying to run that fastball inside to get some weak contact and runs it in too far against Engel.
That's going to leave a mark right on his hip. So Aaron Sanchez with the bases loaded. Wellington Castillo walked. Yomer Sanchez singled, and now Engel gets hit by a pitch. The bases are loaded with 1 out. Yohan Moncada goes after the first pitch and hits it deep. This is going to score a run. Granderson backing up. Granderson makes the catch. He hit it and then caught it. And Castillo doesn't run for some reason. Oh, my.
You know, Buck, it looked like he tagged up and then he thought that the ball was going to bounce off of Granderson and he took off. So he had to wait again until he securely caught the ball in left field. By that time, all the runners had left the bases. I think Rick Renteria wants to look at this to see where the runners were, but Initially, he didn't catch it. When he fell to the ground, the ball came down. That's when all the base runners tagged up and started to go, and they had to go back.
The question is, did this ball hit the fence at all? And he catches it. It looked like it hit the fence, and if it did, that won't be a catch. And then we're going to have all kinds of decisions. It looked like the ball hit the fence and stayed in the park, and then Curtis was able to catch it. But now watch if the ball hits the fence. It's not a catch, even though he caught it as he went to the ground. So the umpires now are having a conference halfway up the first base foul line. Rick Renteria, the manager, came out to talk to the home plate umpire, Greg Gibson.
This is going to be really interesting. If the umpire called out one of the outfield umpires, if he ran out there and called out, and they're saying no catch if it hit the wall, you can't give a guy a base. Watch the umpire.
Renteria is going to argue, I'm sure, that it is not a catch because it appeared to hit the fence. Now, there's no reason for Castillo to do anything other than tag and go home. I don't care what the play is on the field. Here's another look at it. Does the ball hit the fence? It did behind his glove.
Clearly it does.
So now this is where it really becomes complicated.
Yeah.
So now you have to decide, first of all, it's not a catch because it hit the fence first. It's in play. Then you have to decide where you're going to put the base runners. If the call on the field is overturned, Jerry Lane is the crew chief. He's explaining the situation to John Gibbons. Greg Gibson is the home plate umpire. Jerry Lane made the call. He's the third base umpire.
He called out. That ball hit the wall, was knocked down, and then caught by Granderson. I mean, can you award a guy first base and all the other runners a base?
Well, now they're going to go look at the video to see where the base runners were, and that's how they will place the base runners. But Jerry Lane is the crew chief, and he made the call. So he's going to be involved on the video review with New York. Greg Gibson is the next senior umpire, so he too will be involved. But this, you know what, you go to the ballpark and you always say, well, I haven't seen that before. And here we have the bases loaded, one out. Granderson hits it. Now watch where the base runners are. They're all tagging. All three of the base runners had tagged, and then they go back. There is no reason for Castillo to do anything other than tag and go.
I think he saw Granderson go up and looked like he was going to catch the ball and then took off. But then all of a sudden the ball popped out and he caught it on the way down.
But if he saw the play on the field, the umpire calls him out. He's got to go home anyway.
Yeah. Been around baseball a long time. I don't know how they're going to call this one.
It's going to be interesting, and this is very similar to opening day in Detroit when they had the winning run come in to score. They appealed the play, and they called him out. The Tigers were on the field celebrating a victory, and I think it was 3 minutes and 47 seconds before they resolved that issue.
That was a straight replay. Did he tag him before he got to the plate? This one is, okay, where did the ball hit? Did it hit off the glove, then the wall? Where do you place the runners? You give a guy a base hit, it looks like they're going to give him a base hit and move all the runners up.
The reason that they moved the runners up just one base because all three of the runners were tagging. Now, had the runner at second base gone over halfway to third, he probably would have been able to score as well. So Castillo finally does come in to score. It'll be a base hit for the batter, Moncada. An unusual play, and that's the first time I've seen that one. Granderson jumped for it, but it was behind his glove when it hit the fence. So even though he caught it when he fell down, it was already no catch because it made contact with the fence.
Now Gibby's got something he wants to talk about.
Well, if nothing more, you just want to get clarification. So now he's saying something about the base runner. There you see the ball behind the glove hits up against the fence. So that negates any opportunity to make the catch.
Yeah, that negates that. So it's in their judgment that it's a base hit so everybody can move up one base. He wants to look at something.
Yeah, and the question, the Blue Jays didn't make a play on anybody after the catch. And everybody had safely returned to their previous base. Now, isn't this funny? Jerry Lane was involved with that controversial play down in Atlanta when Gabe Kapler called for a pitching change and no pitcher was throwing. So Jerry Lane's had a rough week.
He's the crew chief. That's who Gibby's talking to right now.
And Jerry Lane decided to allow Hobie Milner, the pitcher that entered the game without warming up, to throw 5 pitches. But now, with the pace of play, a pitcher is allowed 2 minutes and 5 seconds from the time he steps on the field to get loose.
And he wasn't loose, and I thought he did the right thing, giving him a chance to get loose. He goes, the kid's career, is on there. You don't want him to throw 1 or 2 pitches and then get hurt.
So now you've really got to be careful with Garcia after the long delay. Sanchez threw some pitches during the video review. But obviously, El Garcia is a dangerous hitter. He has hit into a double play and struck out. And that hits him. That's going to force in a run. They asked the first base umpire whether or not Garcia was swinging at the pitch. He ruled that he wasn't, so it's a hit batter and a runner comes in.
Yeah, if he was swinging at it, that's why they ask. If he was swinging at it and hits part of his body, that's a strike. But he checked his swing. Tough way to get an RBI. That fastball inside, bearing inside, and it just clips him.
So the bases remain loaded. Engels at third, Moncada's at second, and Garcia's at first base for the DH, Jose Abreu. Ground ball. This should be 2. Travis to Ngope. It is a double play. But a very unusual inning. The White Sox score 2 runs. Sanchez probably explaining his situation to Greg Gibson. Conversation, and Aaron wants to clarify something, and obviously we're not sure what it is. But Aaron certainly had something on his mind after the inning. But the White Sox take the lead on a couple of unusual plays. It's 2 runs in the top of the 5th to take a 3-1 lead for the Blue Jays. It'll be 8-9-1 in their batting order. Kevin Pillar called out on a 3-2 fastball his first time up. The review to sort things out after that ball hit the fence in left field took 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Wellington Castillo, he gets smoked with this foul ball off the face mask. Wow. Greg Gibson helps him stay on his feet.
Knock you backwards.
Well, you can see him feeling the back of his jaw, and that's what happens when you get hit in the chin. It forces your jaw back into your ears.
It's a good sign that he's smiling. So
yeah, he got hit hard. When you get hit flush on that face mask right around your chin, it'll rock your world. And Greg Gibson, the umpire, did a good job to make sure he didn't fall over. Like taking an Ali right to your jaw.
You know.
High pop up into shallow right. Garcia is coming in and he makes the catch. One away.
You know, we can laugh about it now because Castillo's still in the ball game, but we had a shot last year. The umpire who got hit right in the face and got knocked out, he's retired now. Dale Scott.
Dale Scott, that's the last game he umped.
That's
right
the
here.
last, yeah, he is retired now and not umpiring after what, 25, 30 years?
Too many concussions. It's been a big question as to which mask is the safest for both catchers and umpires. Gifton Gope goes after the first pitch and hits it high and deep to center. Adam Engel is there and he gets on the warning track. 2 outs. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Yeah, don't sleep on the Angels. They've got an interesting ball club. Cozart actually started at second base because Ian Kinsler is out with a leg injury. Shohei Ohtani finished up 2 for 5 with a second big league home run. And it was a long affair, but Noe Ramirez picks up the win in relief, throws just 1/3 of an inning, hits a strikeout and picks up a W. Devin Travis, the leadoff man, batting with nobody on and 2 outs. Pulled on the ground. Anderson gathers, fires across the diamond. Another quick inning for Carson Fulmer. This inning took him just 6 pitches. The White Sox have the lead.
Manchester City hosts Manchester United. With a win, City will lock up a league title at home. Catch all the action coming your way Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern, right here on Sportsnet.
That's great soccer action as Premier League is in full swing, and TFC had a big win last night, 3-1 in their Champions League game against Club Americano. Well, they've had a good year on the MLS Cup. Now they're, I believe, in the semis. There'll be one more game, and that will be in Mexico. 0-2 to Matt Davidson. He homered in the second inning, his fourth of the season.
Still have to be very careful with this guy. He's ahead in the count, Sanchez. Davidson behind in the count. Missed that one. Last year, he had 10 of his 26 home runs when he was behind in the count. No doubt mistakes made by pitchers.
Two balls and two strikes, the leadoff man here in the sixth inning. Blue Jays are going to have to come back if they hope to sweep this three-game series against Chicago. Full countdown. Nicky Delmonico, the left fielder, he'll bat next. Sanchez strikes out Davidson. That's his sixth strikeout in the game.
Canada's favorite car cheers for Canada's favorite team. Honda, proud fan since 1977, and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Blue Jays 4-2 on the homestand to start the season. Davidson's strikeout was the seventh for Sanchez.
It elevated that fastball. I think they've had some success against Davidson, elevating that fastball here, and goes right back there.
Got underneath that pitch, and it's upstairs for ball two.
It's happened a couple of times tonight where he's gotten underneath the pitch or on the side. He just doesn't have the movement that we have seen in that first start. Joe mentioned it in the pregame show that he had 10 ground ball outs. Registered 10 outs on the ground tonight. He doesn't have that many ground balls. He's got a couple of double plays, but there's been some walks, hit by pitches, some singles, some fly balls. He just doesn't have that downward movement that he had in that first start against the Yankees. I think Pete sees the same thing.
Hot shot, and Donaldson can't play it. It was hit right at him. He was playing in the shift. And Monaco probably credited with a base hit. That ball skipped past Donaldson, who was over on the first base side of second in the shift against Delmonico.
Right at him. You can see him standing next to the umpire there towards the top of your screen. It's right at him, and not real sure. Should I play it in front of me? Should I play it off to the side? And he does, and it skips by him. That ball is moving.
Donaldson charged with an error. His first error of the season. Wellington Castillo has struck out and walked, and he was the runner at third base when Moncada hit that ball off the fence in left, and it created all sorts of confusion. Video review took 3 minutes and 20 seconds to sort things out.
I think they got it right, though. I really do. The runners, they were all tagging up. They were doing the right thing, and they were allowed to move up one base.
That last pitch for Sanchez, number 91. Bullpen is quiet. Blue Jays have an off day tomorrow before they open up a 9-game road trip. Second start of the season, and you want to get the most out of Sanchez. He hit a batter to force in a run. That was the third White Sox run.
89 pitches in that first game against the Yankees. Carried him into the 6th inning, right where we're at now.
Full count.
And I think if you're the White Sox, you start the runner. Stay out of that double play.
I think you start the runner for a couple of reasons. Yomer Sanchez is on deck, and he's been swinging the hot bat.
You want him up with a runner in scoring position. Delmonico 2 for 2 last year in stolen bases.
There goes the runner. Pulled on the ground, base hit past Ngope in the left. Delmonico will breeze over to third. So it's first and third. Castillo picks up his first hit of the night. That's the 5th hit for the White Sox. Delmonico reached on the air by Donaldson.
Start that runner. That's a 2-seam fastball sinker. It's starting to sink, but it stays up there. Enough for Castillo, who has shown that he's had no problem hitting that inside pitch at all.
Yeah, he's very strong on the inner half, and the Blue Jays saw that in spades here in game 1. He hit a couple of home runs. Delmonico is at third. Pete Walker out having a conference here, trying to help Sanchez get out of this inning. Yomer Sanchez, the third baseman, is a switch hitter. He has doubled and he has singled and scored tonight, and now the Blue Jays bullpen will go to work. Sunwon loosening up for the Jays. Shouldn't take him long to get loose. Yomer Sanchez, as we mentioned, 2 for 2 so far.
He got that hole on the right side to shoot for again. Singled his last time up when there was a runner at first base.
Couple of good pitches inside as Aaron jumps ahead 0-2. Sanchez, Yomer, the third baseman, has homered, doubled, and singled in his last 3 plate appearances. Same spot. 1-2. That is so tough when you get a hot hitter. Looks like you get him with a called third strike, and he gets another pitch.
Yeah, it looked like the same place.
Ground ball. Travis to Ngope. Back to first. Double play. Double play has worked for the Blue Jays tonight. That's the third of the game, and it gets Aaron Sanchez out of a jam in the top of the 6th. Sanchez pitching out of trouble, utilizing that ground ball double play. Donaldson, Smoke, Granderson will 6th. And they talk about Josh's second half. It was better than anybody as far as the long ball goes.
When he gets hot, it's tough to shut him down. 24 home runs in the second half last year. That's 12 in August, 10 more in September. And he's starting this year hot. He's homered in his last 2 games against the White Sox. And I asked him today about that. I said, Josh, you know, what's up? How you feeling? He says, the timing's starting to get there. I'm starting to feel pretty good at the plate. I'm not there yet, but I feel like I'm starting to get there. And it's all about timing with Josh Donaldson.
Well, the Blue Jays in the 6th inning, and they have had comebacks before, and they need another one here tonight. First pitch changeup from Fulmer. He has been impressive, holding the Blue Jays to a single run on 3 hits.
Just 68 pitches. And they've got some action in their bullpen.
Aaron Bummer loosening up for Chicago. They have 3 lefties in their bullpen, and we have seen them all. Base hit for Donaldson. That's the start. Tim Anderson, boy, he timed it pretty good, but it was beyond his reach. He dove in the hole, and it was past him in the left field. The leadoff single for Donaldson.
Second time that he has thrown him that changeup in this at bat. Now Josh saw it on the first pitch, recognizes it early. It's just off the glove of Anderson. Here's the timing, what I talk about. He's got the leg kick, gets those hands moving, and catches it out front.
Justin Smoke hit a double to deep center back into 4th. A leadoff double. Takes ball 1. Third time through the order, third time the Blue Jays hitters have had a chance to look at Carson Fulmer, the starter. This is his first start against the Jays.
And I think third time through, I don't think he needs to change anything right now. He's thrown some quality pitches. His slider's been good. They must have some kind of information on him. That's why they have that pitcher up and throwing in that bullpen.
Granderson is on deck. The lefty is 2 for 2 against Fulmer, and that's probably why they have Bummer throwing. There's a base hit. Could be extra bases. Donaldson's around second. He's headed for third. Smoke will get to second with his second consecutive double. And here come the Blue Jays.
Boy, he really stayed on that changeup well. Stayed back. He's become an excellent off-speed pitch hitter. There was a time that you could throw off-speed pitches like this and he would swing through them. Now he's staying back just a hair longer. And instead of swinging through them, he's ripping them in the corner for extra bases. Watch how he stays back, recognizes it, rips it. That'll send Donaldson to third base and send Renteria to the mound.
Renteria, he was concerned about the Granderson at bat in this inning. Good job by Carson Fulmer. He pitches into the 6th. Aaron Bummer on to face Curtis Granderson, and they'll send up a pinch hitter. It'll be Steve Pearce against the lefty when we come back with 2 on. And the Blue Jays have done a great job of hitting extra bases. 28 extra base hits so far this season for the Blue Jays, and boy, that puts a lot of pressure on pitchers.
And I love the doubles. They've been hitting a ton of doubles early on, keeping that runner in scoring position.
Steve Pearce against the lefty, Aaron Bummer. First pitch swinging, and he drives home Donaldson. Smoke moves to third, so the Blue Jays are within a run. Steve Pearce coming off the bench, delivering on the first pitch.
Looked like a breaking ball from Aaron Bummer. He's got a good fastball. It's basically a fastball slider. That's what you're going to get from the big left-hander. Steve Pearce has a couple of runners in scoring position. There's the breaking ball. It stays over the middle plate, and he rips it into left field.
First RBI of the season for Pearce. Smoke had to make sure it went safely into left. He moves to third as Donaldson comes in to score, and it's a 3-2 White Sox lead. Randall Grichuk now against the lefty.
The late innings have been the best innings for the Blue Jays.
We had mentioned that the Blue Jays have done a lot of damage late. They have made it an interesting game here. Carson Fulmer out of the game. He had allowed just 5 hits.
On Saturday, their first win of the season, they scored 2 runs in the 8th inning to win that one. 6 runs in the 7th and 8th inning in Sunday's game to win that one. They were down 4-1 to the Yankees. They scored late to win the game against the White Sox here on Monday. Scored 7 in the 8th inning yesterday to win that one, blow that one open, and threatening again.
3-0. 17 of the 33 runs the Jays have scored coming into this game, 7th inning or later. Russell Martin waits on deck. Martin had an RBI groundout back in the 4th. Randall Grichuk with a 3-0 count. Chased a bad pitch, 3-0, had the green light. Good sinking fastball. Bummer has a terrific sinker.
Yeah, good fastball, sinker, slider. A little bit too anxious right now. He's swinging before he sees the ball. You can see him slapping him on his back himself on the back leg, saying, stay back, stay back. See the ball before you swing.
Strike 3 called. High fastball, and Grichuk is called out on strikes. That's the first out of the inning. So Bummer comes back from a 3-0 count to get the strikeout. Now Russell Martin at the plate. Mentioned Martin picked up his 3rd RBI of the season back in the 4th with a ground ball to the shortstop. That scored Justin Smoke from 3rd. Bummer's got a lot of great movement down in the zone. That ball explodes downstairs. 93-94 with that two-seam fastball.
Some power. That's 94. Luis Rivera was motioning to Russell, saying, hey, get that ball up. Make him get that ball up. Even if you make contact on that low pitch, can't do much with it.
That ball was up, but it was outside. Rick Renteria went to the lefty. Bummer John Gibbons countered with the pinch hitter Steve Pearce, who delivered on the first pitch, an RBI single. Two balls and a strike now. Well, we have talked about it in the early going. This is just the 7th game of the season for the Blue Jays, but they've had some good at-bats. Former Blue Jay Danny Farquhar appears to be ready down in the White Sox bullpen. Kendrys Morales is on deck if Martin can stay out of a double play. Bouncing ball. Sanchez comes home and Smoke is tagged out. Sanchez wisely went home to cut down the run. That wasn't a double play ball. Made a good decision there, and they tag out Smoke as Martin hits into a fielder's choice.
Yeah, if your momentum is taking you to the plate and the ball was chopped out in front of home plate, in his mind he said, I can't make a double play here. His momentum is bringing him to the plate, so he says, I'll just get the one.
Now Boston liked that defensive play, and he is the master of the whistle, acknowledging the good heads-up play by Sanchez at third. Kendrys Morales turns around and bats right-handed. Morales has grounded out and struck out 0 for 2. Hit up the middle. Here comes Pearce around third. The throw from Engel is not in time. Kendrys Morales with a big hit. He ties it up at 3. Steve Pearce, an RBI pinch hit single, comes in to score the tying run on the RBI by Kendrys Morales. He had an RBI in last night's game.
Clutch hit by Morales. They needed it with 2 outs. He picks on that sinking fastball, drills it back through the middle, and we've been talking about the Blue Jays base running. They score the run at the plate, and when Engel decides to go home, Davidson lets the cutoff go through. Both runners move up into scoring position. That's Russell over at third, Morales at second base, and the Blue Jays come through with another clutch hit.
2 outs, 2 on. Danny Farquhar into the ball game as Kendrys Morales has tied it up with a single. Kevin Pillar waits to hit. He gave up a leadoff single and a double to Donaldson and Smoke. He's out of the game. 2 runs come in after he was out of the ball game, and he is going to end up with a tough outing. He walked one, struck out 5. He threw 73 pitches.
Yeah,
he was really baffling the Blue Jay hitters.
Yeah, through those middle innings, second, third, fourth, and fifth, he had 2 base runners, gave up 1 run. And out of that, all he's going to get is a no decision.
Danny Farquhar into the ball game, his 3rd appearance of the season.
Second in this series, faced the Blue Jays here in game 1. Gave up a big home run to Russell Martin.
Kevin Pillar faced him in that outing. Flied out to center. Kevin is 0 for 2 to this point. Martin is at 3rd. Morales at 2nd. 2 more runners in scoring position. John Gibbons had the luxury of having Steve Pearce available tonight. He has been somewhat under the weather, but he stepped up and jumped on the first pitch to pick up an RBI. Pillar cut down his swing and fouled off a tough pitch from Farquhar.
A little bit more controlled that time with 2 strikes. Got some runners in scoring position. He's had success going back through the middle or to right field early in this season.
Up out over the plate, and Pillar fouls it up. Kevin's had 7 at bats against Danny Farquhar. He's 3 for 7. Well, a big hit right here, and the Blue Jays would take the lead.
Yeah, it'd be demoralizing too for the White Sox if they can come up with another 2-out base hit.
Ball into dirt. 2-2 now. Well, anytime you get to the big bats in this Blue Jays lineup, you can come back. Aaron Sanchez might be done out of this ball game, and Pillar with a pivotal at bat here in the 6th. Donaldson got it started, Smoke followed it up, and then the pinch hitter Steve Pearce pulled foul past Louis Rivera. Donaldson had a leadoff single. Smoke hit his 2nd consecutive double. Ground ball up the middle. Anderson from behind second throws to first. That ends the inning, but the Blue Jays with 2 runs tie it up. Steve Pearce, an RBI single as a pinch hitter. Kendrys Morales, an RBI single to tie it up. It's 3-3. Morales with his 2nd RBI in as many nights drives home the pinch hitter, Steve Pearce. It's a 3-3 game. Out of the ball game. Aaron Sanchez throws 98 pitches over his 6 innings. He walked 2. He also hit a batter with the bases loaded, of course, in a run. But it's a 3-3 game. 7 strikeouts for Aaron against just 2 walks tonight.
Yeah, the strikeout pitch was working with that fastball. He got the double plays when he needed to. He got 3 big ones that helped him keep it at a 3-run game. He will give way to Sangwon Oh. Second time that we have seen O in this series. He gave up a home run to Castillo on Monday night. Faced the bottom of the order tonight.
4th appearance of the season for O. He's pitched a total of 3 innings. He's surrendered 3 hits in a run. That home run, as Pat mentioned, Steve Pearce stays in the game defensively in left field. Curtis Granderson ended up 2 for 2 with a single and a double. Curtis is having some great at bats. Tim Anderson in the 8th spot in the order chases that slider off the plate. It's 1-2.
They're using O a lot as he builds up his arm strength. Remember, he didn't really have a full spring training. Signed late by the Blue Jays and got into a couple of games in spring training. But he's just rounding into form. He's got a good breaking ball.
Pulled to short, and Gope gathers it up and fires in time. 1 away.
This 4K broadcast is brought to you by the Samsung QLED TV. See nothing else.
Beautiful shot of the waterfront in Toronto. CN Tower all lit up right next door to the Rogers Center. Adam Engel. He was hit by a pitch his last time up. And that loaded the bases and set up that controversial play when Yohan Moncada back in the 5th inning hit a ball that Curtis Granderson appeared to catch. The White Sox asked for a video review and it was ruled a single because the ball hit the fence behind Granderson's glove. When he fell to the warning track, he was able to make the catch. But because it hit the fence first, it was not a legal catch.
And that's when the fun started. Base runners weren't really sure what to do.
There's a base hit over in Gope in the left field. Engel's aboard with 1 out. That'll turn the lineup over.
And Gope has played a good shortstop when called upon. Again, Diaz is out of the lineup because of some back tightness. And Gope showing some hops, getting up there, almost getting that one.
The Blue Jays have turned 3 double plays tonight. Engel at first can run. He's got an aggressive lead. Not going here.
He was leaning out there like he was going to go. This is where O's got to show him some different times to the plate. Quick pitch if you have to, throw over there if you need to. He was 8 for 9 in stolen bases. Last year was Engel.
Make him dive back into first. Oh, for his career, has allowed just 2 stolen bases and only 3 attempts. So he's very aware, and obviously when you're a closer, as he has been throughout his professional career, you're always pitching in tight games. So that aspect of your game is very important. Now, he's done a terrific job. He understands what the running game is all about.
Fundamentally sound. You see these players come over here, they're very fundamentally sound.
Two away. That's high fastball. Strikes out Moncada. You can see the 4-seam spin. And Moncada swings underneath it.
By design, Russell Martin asked for that ball above his hands. And he gets it.
2 away. Avisail Garcia. Garcia did not face O in game 1 of this series. Good idea to start him off with that slider.
Told you that he hit over 500 on the first pitch last year. It's a late breaking slider. It looks fastball and all of a sudden it breaks late as on its way to home plate. Tough to pick up for righties.
O pitched in his native South Korea for 9 seasons. Then he pitched in Japan in 2014 and 2015. Pitched for the Hanshin Tigers in the Japanese Central League. In Japan, he had 80 saves in 2 years. Angle broke as if he wanted to run, but he didn't like his lead and jump. Now it's 1-2.
Seen him pitch now, what did you say, 4 times this year? This is his best fastball that we have seen. The arm is getting stronger.
Stop him at first. Not running. Upstairs. Pat, you mentioned that O signed with the Blue Jays but had trouble getting his visa, so he couldn't pitch a lot in the spring, but he threw as much as he could on the side, simulated games, inter-squad games, whatever. Well, I'm surprised they haven't tried to run here in this situation. It's the 7th inning, got a very good runner at first.
Don't take the bat out of one of your better hitters. You don't want to get thrown out. That is DeMarlo Hale sending the signs to Russell Martin what they want to do. Pitch out, throw over, slide step.
Oh, strikes him out. That fastball upstairs, a couple of strikeouts. He gave up a 1-out single and nothing more. They'll go to the bottom of the 7th and Gope, Travis, and Donaldson in his 3-3 game.
And it all starts next week. 16 wins, a 2-month grind, all for the Cup. The 2018 Stanley Cup playoffs on CBC and Sportsnet begins April 11th. Home half of the 7th, back up to the booth, Buck Martinez and Pat Tabler.
Thank you very much, Hazel May. Number 9 hitter for the Blue Jays is Gifty Gope. He squares the bunt and takes a strike.
We were talking about that in between the breaks here. The White Sox, they don't know Ngope that well. Not a bad idea to either push or drag a bunt here to try and start the 7th.
Ngope hit a ball to deep center field his last time up. Pushed Adam Engel right to the warning track. He's not hit a major league home run. The Blue Jays haven't homered this evening. The White Sox have hit a home run. And that's it for Ngope. He strikes out.
Super Slow-Mo Cam. Brought to you by Samsung Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus. The camera reimagined. Available now.
Nate Jones, a hard-throwing right-hander, has not pitched in his series to this point. He is getting loose. Devin Travis takes the first pitch breaking ball for strike one. Devin is 0 for 3. He is now 1 for 19 to start this season. We mentioned the White Sox have homered. They are one of 3 teams that's homered in all of their games so far this season. White Sox have now homered in 5 games. The Blue Jays have homered in 6 games. The Cardinals got a home run tonight from Yadi Molina, and they have homered in all 6 of their games. So the Blue Jays need to get a home run tonight, not only to take the lead, but to keep the streak alive.
Well, I like my chances with the guys coming up. Josh has homered 5 straight games against the White Sox. Donaldson Smokes look good tonight too.
Up and in.
Devitt's tracking that ball to shoot the ball to right field. He's trying to wait a little bit longer on the off-speed pitches. His strength is the other way, I think, as a hitter. He can wait really long and still hit a ball hard to right field.
It's better into third. It's a full count. Donaldson is on deck. Josh has been on base twice. He has walked, flied out, and singled. He scored the second Blue Jay run in the 6th, part of that 2-run 6th inning. Blue Jays tied it. This is where the Jays have done their best work from the 7th inning on. Devin just trying to get his timing. You'll remember last year as well, he got off to a slow start. But by his own admission, he is much further along this season than he was last year at the same time.
Yeah, had a great May, followed up that tough April with a great May. Yeah, his timing's just a little off.
He gets jammed. Sanchez at third backs up and throws him out. 2 away. Ryan Tepera getting loose to come on to start the 8th. Sun Wong, a couple of strikeouts in his inning of work. Tepera's been terrific in his early work. Donaldson at the plate, but he won't hit against Danny Farquhar. Rick Renteria making his way to the mound. We showed you Nate Jones warming up, and they're going to go to the hard-throwing right-hander for this matchup. Donaldson has worn out the White Sox. 34 RBIs in 36 games. It'll be Jones against Donaldson with the game on the line. descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. The final game of the homestand, Steve Pearce with a pitch hit RBI single. Kendrys Morales had an RBI single to tie it up. It's 3-3. Nate Jones into the ball game. First time we've seen Jones in this series.
He can set up or he can close. 11 games, just 11 games last year. He had some elbow issues for the second time in 3 years last year. Tommy John surgery in 2014. He was David Robertson's setup man in 2016, and then some nerve problems in 2017. That's why he only pitched in 11 games last year. But he throws hard. He's got a unique delivery at the plate. Hesitates very briefly, but he's got a big fastball and a buckling curveball.
Josh Donaldson waves at that fastball. He was looking fastball and tried to check his swing, but went all the way around. Donaldson is 1 for 3 against Nate Jones.
His breaking ball is more of a slider. Everything you see from him is hard.
Jones quickly ahead, 0-2. You see that unusual delivery Pat was talking about. There's a distinct hesitation. He just shoots that right arm straight back from his shoulder.
Yeah, clears it, clears the arm from his body, and then lets it go. Strong arm.
And Eris Solarte has his batting gloves on just in case. He did not start this game tonight. High fly ball deep to center field. Engel's got room on the warning track, and he runs it down. Donaldson gave it a ride, but that ends the inning. Jones come out of the bullpen to put out the fire here in the 7th. Solarte, ball off the bat. He thought it's out of here, but it falls short of the mark. We're still tied as we head to the 8th.
Fans will receive this back-to-back World Series sweatshirt when the Blue Jays host the Kansas City Royals. Note the early start time, 4:07 p.m. Eastern. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com. Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazel. We are in the 8th inning. Ryan Tepera makes his 4th appearance of the season, and he has been right on. Just 1 hit allowed in his first 3 outings over 3 innings.
He got on a roll early last season and never stopped. In fact, he had a scoreless streak of 19 consecutive innings last season for about a month, the end of April to the end of May, and just rode that all the way through the rest of the season. He's carried it into 2018.
Jose Abreu is the DH here tonight. The only hit Tepera has surrendered this season was off the bat of Abreu. Tepera came in the ballgame in the 8th inning on Monday and gave up a 1-out double to Abreu, but then Tepera struck out Davidson and struck out Castillo to end the inning. .96, but he pulled it well off the plate outside. 2-0.
Got to be careful now. Abreu's got one thing on his mind: extra base hit.
Cutter down in the dirt. It's 3-0. Abreu has not reached base so far in this game. He's 0 for 3 with a strikeout, and he grounded into a double play as well. He has reached base safely in all 4 of the first games the White Sox played, trying to extend that streak here against Tepera. Swinging a high fly ball deep to left center, and that ball is going to go into the WestJet flight deck. And Tepera gives up a home run. The second hit he's allowed. They've both come off the bat of Jose Abreu. This time it's a go-ahead home run.
You figure he was swinging 3-0. And again, one thing on his mind in a tie game in the 8th inning, he's thinking extra base hit, gets the pitch to his liking. Sends it flying. That's his second home run of the season, his 3rd RBI. 3-0, you can let it out.
He is such a good hitter, and certainly the manager, Rick Renteria, trusts him to give him the green light. 3-0, knows he's going to get a good pitch to hit. The White Sox retake the lead. As Pat mentioned, that's his second home run of the season. He has been a tough out for the Blue Jays throughout his career.
What a great series he's put together. 2 hits and a hit batter. Yesterday he was robbed of a hit by the shortstop Diaz yesterday. A couple of hits, 3 hits in fact, on Monday.
That's his 15th career extra base hit against the Blue Jays and his 24th career RBI. You can hear Greg Gibson asking the first base umpire, Vic Carapazza, did he go? Because Davidson started his swing, got hit by the pitch. Same situation back in the 5th with Avisail Garcia at the plate. And now they're going to have a look at the video review. Sanchez hit Garcia on a similar pitch. Garcia started his swing but didn't offer it to pitch. Bases were loaded at that time.
Yeah, tough way to get an RBI, but Garcia was awarded an RBI on that one. He was all geared up and ready to swing at this pitch, so there's no way to get out of the way.
So Tepera.
Let's watch it again. Fastball riding up.
I hit him on the left wrist. He's really lucky that didn't come up and hit him in the face. Watch how his face is right there. That ball hit him on the wrist. He did not attempt to swing, but that's what the Blue Jays are asking the umpires to review.
What is that, a sweatband or some type of black band on his wrist? That's what it clipped. The umpires took a look at it and saw what we saw.
So Davidson is out of the game in favor of the pinch runner. Lurie Garcia will take over as a pinch runner. Davidson had been the DH in the first 2 games. Tonight he started at first. Chicago leads at 4-3. Ground ball. Travis will go to Ngopi at second, back to first. Another double play. So 4th and double play. The Blue Jays have turned tonight. It could be a much bigger margin of a lead for the White Sox, but the inner defense has been terrific.
That play was made by Devin Travis attacking this ground ball. If he waits back, no chance to get Delmonico. Look how he comes and gets it. Gives a good throw to Ngope, and then flat-footed Gift is able to catch it, throw off that back foot. Still plenty of arm strength to get the runner at first base.
Remember the concerns the Blue Jays had going into spring training. Is Devin going to be healthy enough to play, and would Troy Tulowitzki be able to play short? That's why they went out and added their infield depth with Diaz, Ngope, and Solarte.
Absolutely, and they have been impressive.
Wellington Castillo. High fly ball to left. Pierce calls for it, moves under it, and that's going to be it. But Jose Abreu hits the leadoff home run to give Chicago the lead 4-3. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell with Joe Siddall in the Samsung broadcast studio. So far this season.
Last 4 games, they have scored at least 1 run. Take a look at the slugging percentage, innings 1 through 7, 385, not bad. How about the 8th inning? 967, 7 runs yesterday in the 8th inning for the Blue Jays. They also scored a run in the 8th inning in game number 1 and 4 on Sunday.
Nicky Delmonico started in left field. He has moved to first base. The pinch runner, Lurie Garcia, takes over in left field. Garcia came on as a pinch runner for Matt Davidson, who started at first. Dustin Smoke hits it high in the air to deep center field. Engel on the run at the track, and Garcia makes the catch. Larry Garcia, fresh into the ball game, runs it down just in front of the scoreboard in deep center field. Smoke put a charge in it.
Yeah, it looked like extra bases. But remember, in a 1-run game in the 8th inning, the outfielders are going to be playing just a little bit deeper. I think that helped Garcia get back there. Smoke looks like he has an extra base hit, but Garcia gets back there, times his jump perfectly, and takes away a hit.
Adam Engel did a good job of getting out of the way to prevent a collision just before they both hit the fence. Steve Pearce hits it to left field. Garcia is there. 2 quick outs here in the 8th.
A couple of long fly ball outs against Nate Jones. Now in his 7th season with the White Sox. He's the longest tenured White Sox.
He came in to close out the 7th. He got Donaldson to fly out to center. Randall Grichuk, he's 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. 98, but low. Abreu, Osuna, and Aaron Loup. They were up in last night's 8th inning, and the Blue Jays scored 7 runs. So Loup came in to finish it up. The start of the bottom of the 8th, it was 7-5, a 2-run game. Osuna was getting up, getting ready to close it out, and then the Blue Jays put up a 7 spot in the bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, he got to sit down and save him for one more night. I'd like to see him pitch tonight.
It's the bottom of the White Sox order, scheduled to bat in the 9th. Sanchez, Anderson, and Engel. Foul tip held on to by the catcher Castillo. Gritchett strikes out for a 3rd time. Nate Jones has retired all 4 he's faced since coming into the game. Type R.
Tie ball game just last inning, and Jose Abreu finds himself in a 3-0 count. He hit 33 home runs last year for the White Sox, drove in 102 runs. He takes this one deep. That's his 2nd home run of this season, breaks the tie, and that's tonight's drive of the game.
4-3 White Sox as they are set to bat in the top of the 9th inning. The hits are even at 7 apiece, but the White Sox have hit 2 home runs. The Blue Jays haven't gone deep. Chicago has homered in all 5 of their games this season. Aaron Loup makes his 3rd appearance.
Pitched the 9th inning in yesterday's game, had a couple of strikeouts. Also gave up a scratch infield hit to Avisail Garcia. He will face the bottom 3rd of the lineup of the White Sox.
Yolmer Sanchez is a switch hitter. He's 2 for 3, double single, and he grounded into a double play. The Blue Jays have turned 4 double plays tonight. Loup is effective against right-handed hitters. He's got a good moving fastball. He's got a very effective changeup.
Yeah, he can paint that fastball inside to the righties. Looks like they're going back in there.
Makes quick work of Sanchez, 1 away.
Hit a home run with any project this season. Home Hardware, proud sponsor of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Joaquim Soria loosening up. Soria, a veteran closer. Tim Anderson tried to check his swing. Anderson's 0 for 3 with a strikeout. The White Sox shortstop had 3 hits, including a home run in 4 at-bats in last night's game. Rick Renteria didn't like the matchup with Sanchez starting this game, so he dropped Anderson down into the 8th spot.
There's that fastball that he can bury inside to the righties. And then he follows that up with that changeup down and away. If he catches you, if Aaron catches you looking out over the plate, he can buzz that fastball by you.
Fastball upstairs. Back-to-back strikeouts for Loop here in the 9th. Anderson strikes out for a second time.
Same type of pitch that he got Yolmer Sanchez with. He gets Tim Anderson. Fastball riding that one up and away. You can see hides the ball a long time, comes from a 3/4 angle. Tough for a righty to pick that ball up.
Adam Engel, the center fielder, is 1 for 2 officially. Got hit by a pitch. He's also singled. The Blue Jays pitching staff racking up the strikeouts. Eleven more strikeouts tonight. They've struck out 66 batters in 7 games.
When this series started, the White Sox had the 4th fewest strikeouts in Major League Baseball. Their hitters. Jay Happ, he had a big day yesterday with the strikeouts, 9 of them.
In 5 1/3. Jaime Garcia had 7 strikeouts in the opener on Monday. Aaron Sanchez struck out 7 over his 6 innings. Blue Jays bullpen has been racking up their share of strikeouts coming into this game. 22 strikeouts in 20 1/3 innings. The bullpen with 4 more strikeouts in this game. O had 2. Loop's got a pair. 2-2 to Engel. Tried to drop that breaking ball outside and missed. Full count. Yohan Moncada, switch hitter, waits on deck.
Leave him there. Got to get that number 9 hitter. Finish him off.
Looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th, Russell Martin, Kendrys Morales, and Kevin Pillar are the scheduled batters. Should the 9th spot come up, Gifton Gope, they've got Solarte, a switch hitter, available off the bench. High fly ball, shallow left field. Pierce continues to come in. He gets there, and good inning for Aaron Loop. 3 up, 3 down with a couple of strikeouts. So he's done his part. Now it's over to the hitters. Russell Martin will lead things off against Joaquim Soria. The Blue Jays are down by a run.
can count on us to get home safe. Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays and proud fan since 1977.
Final game of this season opening 7-game homestand for the Blue Jays. They lost the first 2 games against New York and then have won 4 in a row going into this game. Joakim Soria last year with the Royals for his second stint in Kansas City.
59 games, he had 1 save. He came over here to become the closer. He had a save on opening day against the Royals. That was his first for the White Sox, 205th of his career. Has him tied for Aroldis Chapman for 6th among active players entering play yesterday.
Spent his first 5 seasons with the Royals and racked up 160 saves. Big slow curveball catches the inside corner, just 68 miles an hour.
When he first came up, it was fastball, cutter, a little bit of a slider, and a changeup occasionally. Doesn't throw as hard as he did when he first came up.
Bounce that ball in the dirt. Soria is now 33 years old. 11 big league seasons under his belt.
Says, I don't care what inning I pitch in. Just let me pitch. Whenever his manager gives him a chance, says, I'm going to be there for him.
1-2. Martin strikes out, 1 away. Now for a preview of what's coming up next on Sportsnet Central. Here's Ken Reed, Navanka Osman. That's a great story, Ivanka, and I'm not going to spoil your evening. And Jack Nicklaus, 6-time Masters champ, had a special day today. Kendrys Morales. Boy, this would be a great time for his first home run, wouldn't it?
Outfielders are deep. He's going to have to get that ball up from Soria.
Morales and Soria, teammates in Kansas City in 2016. He's sizing him up. Solarte's got his batting helmet on. He'll have to have somebody reach base this inning for him to come to the plate. He would bat for the number 9 hitter, Gifton Gope.
Soria taking his time now after falling behind 3-0. Gave up 1 home run last year with Kansas City in 56 innings. You gotta think that Morales has the green light, just like Jose Abreu had the green light. 3-0.
He's had 2 3-0 home runs in his career. He takes a low strike. Morales, a career 190 home runs. '28 a year ago, looking for number 1. Line drive, center field, but that's going to hang up for Engel. 2 away. Morales 1 for 4, had the RBI in the 6th that tied it at 3-3 at the time. Jose Abreu's leadoff home run in the top of the 8th off Ryan Tepera. The difference in this game as the Blue Jays are down to their final out. It'll be Kevin Pillar's first at bat against Soria. That slow breaking ball, tantalizing, but Pillar laid off.
Puts that slow breaking ball in his mind. Another one.
Solarte has grabbed a bat. He's out on deck. If Pilar can reach, he will hit for Gifton Gope. Upstairs with the fastball. It's 1-2.
Little speed pitch that time by Soria, trying to throw off Pilar's timing at the plate. We're seeing that more and more often with relievers who come in out of the stretch. They just try to quick pitch the batter.
Pilar battling tough. Fouls off a tough pitch down and away.
Battle, got to find a way to get on base and give Solarte a chance to tie it or win it.
Abreu with the go-ahead home run in the 8th. Smoke has a pair of doubles tonight. The hits are even at 7 apiece, but the White Sox lead at 4-3.
Good eye. In the past, he'd be very anxious to swing at pitches like that in the dirt.
Soria is going to work to the edges. Another abbreviated delivery. That split finger pitch that Pilar was able to foul off. Soria basically a slide step out of the stretch position with nobody on.
Yeah, just to upset the timing a little bit.
This is the 8th pitch of the at-bat, and that's it. Pilar foul tips it. The strikeout ends the ball game. Soria with a clean inning here in the 9th picks up his 2nd save of the season, and the White Sox salvage the final game of this 3-game series.
Blue Jays had some chances. They had some runners on base. They had 2 runs in that 6th inning on 4 hits. One more clutch hit and they would have taken this one. But overall, 4-3 on the homestand to begin 2018.
0-2 after 2 games against New York. They came back and won 4 of the next 5. They'll have an off day tomorrow. We'll be back with you on Friday night. Thanks for watching, folks. Have a great night. Stay tuned. Here's Sportsnet Central.